believes that aliens
He's got no choice.
now.
I mean, he's got no choice. He's seen these first now, you know.
Yeah.
He is a believer. Now I'm a believer. You know, I mean, he is there.
But he's like fully into it now. Like he's the first one that ever believed this.
Absolutely, and that's his claim to fame. You know, he will be like, "No, aliens are real. Aliens are real. Yes, they're real. I've been telling you that the whole time. Well, how do you not know? You know, that's Mike's shtick. So
Has that just been like so much fun to play that type of
I
character?
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the ability to be impulsive and be able to try new stuff on the fly. It's a really interesting sandbox that we get to play in, and it's not something that is traditional in this business. In this business, there is, unless it's a show that is specifically designed for improv, like Reno 911 or something like that, or Curb Your Enthusiasm, where there really is no script. There's the idea of what the story is and what the scene is, and then you depend upon the actors to kind of fill in the blanks. You know, we have a script, and we always shoot what's in the script, but what Chris started doing from the very beginning was always allowing us to have a free pass. And slowly but surely, I think through the choices we were making in those free passes, there was a confidence that was, you know, created that we would make some good choices if we made some choices of our own. And that just, it creates trust between the actors and the writers and the creatives and with Chris. But it also makes you feel like you're contributing. That you're at a potluck and you actually brought a dish. You didn't just bring a plate and a fork. You actually showed up and brought something that's contributing. And it's tough because in many cases, egos don't allow for such a thing. Not just egos, but technical stuff. Television in particular, scripts go through so many hands. Whether it's your writers, your showrunners, it goes to the studio sends it up back with their notes, and then you have a network draft, and it goes to the network, and they send. So everybody's hands sign off on this. So by the time you get to filming, you'd have to get a lot of clearance to start changing things because already so many people have signed off on this and signed off on that. So what Chris did brilliantly was he put a cut together, I think, of like what's scripted. And then he would create a cut that threw in some of the things that we did. And the studio and the network started liking some of our choices. So that's what helped create some of the freedom to play a little bit. And I think it's worked. I think it keeps everyone on their toes. It keeps everyone present. And again, it makes you feel like you're contributing. That I'm not just here to deliver someone else's creative vision. I actually get to implement a little bit of my own as well. So I think that's extremely valuable.
It's this really fun dynamic between Mike and Deputy Lynn. What's it like working with Elizabeth? And you two get
Elizabeth
together?
is great. I wouldn't trade her for anything. We go together like peanut butter and chocolate. We do. We understand each other's humor really, really well. And it's kind of like when you're playing, if you're doing a jam session with a fellow musician, and you got someone on the piano, and they start playing, and they're in a certain key, and they're in a certain rhythm and the tempo, and then someone else is there with a guitar. And there's no music, there's no sheet music, everyone's just grooving. And that's the dynamic that I feel like, you know, Liz and I have. We are two people playing by ear, and we found a way to harmonize regardless of what instrument we're playing. I love her to death. I wish she was here right now.
That would be a great idea.
Oh man, I don't know. We might be going. They have this thing where we usually try to see who's going to get the last line in a scene. So if you're ever watching and it's just feeling like it's droning on a little bit, it's probably because we spent like 5 minutes going, and eventually the first AD or Chris will be like, okay guys, all right, because we literally will just keep going and going, and then when they finally yell cut, it's usually just the she and I are laughing. You know what I mean? We amuse ourselves. So she's the best. She's the best.
Do you have a running tally of who's winning?
If I had to guess, honestly, it's probably her. It's probably her. She finds a way to sneak it in. You don't always see them because they get edited in different ways, but I'd say she probably is winning that one.
And then on the more serious front, like the characters also dealt with a lot of trauma, like PTSD, like
Yeah.
I guess without revealing too much, like kind of how we see that arc continue, and also kind of
Yeah, that was one of the things I was talking about on the stage, how, you have to dedicate and give a little bit of yourself to those moments. That scene on the park bench was something that Chris and I spoke about before we filmed it, and I tied in some experiences from my own life. And again, that sense of collaboration and that, wow, I can take something that is, and what it does is it helps me find what it is that I'm trying to create when we're on camera. I remember when we shot that scene in particular, the director at the time, Emma Thompson, I think she directed that episode. And I told her, I said, can we start with the close-up coverage? Because I'm ready to go. And I'm ready to get this, and let's get it while it's fresh. I don't want to start wide and blow everything, and then by the time you get to coverage, the emotion isn't there. So we actually filmed that backwards. We started with all the close-up coverage first, and then panned out and did all the wide stuff, because I thought, I knew, based on what was happening with me when I was rehearsing the material, I knew when would be the prime time to get the shot that we wanted. So, and again, that's that part of that collaboration and working with one another. And once you remove ego from any of that, all of that stuff is made easier when everyone understands that everything is done in the service of the show. The service of the show. Even Chris, he'll tell you, if your joke's funnier than mine, it's going in. It's whatever is going to elevate the show. So, taking time to delve into those emotions and talk about grief. And I mean, I can feel myself getting emotional just thinking about it, because I know what I have to tap into to get there. And it is something we all have had an experience with. And I think that's one of the unique aspects of the storytelling of our show in general is Harry's journey as an outsider, as a fish out of water, ironically enough, helps all of us find our humanity. That it takes someone outside of us to help us discover us. And similarly for him, I think Harry discovers things about himself through external, but for the purposes of the storytelling of what we're doing, the idea that an alien could help us discover humanity is a beautiful arc. And I think that's one of the things that separates our show from other shows, is that you can laugh yourself to tears or like be bawling with tears all within the same episode. And that's special. So I think I'm about to get yanked from you guys.
Yes, she did.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.